trying to carve it into the gaps. There's plenty of gaps, plenty of areas where you can pick up those twos. You got to hold your nerve, bowler or batter.
That's good bowling to a plan. The onside, he's sacrificed the boundary riders. Fine leg is up. Backward square is inside the circle. He's got spread out men on the offside, including one in the square in the circle. That's cover.
Yeah, that cover field under tremendous pressure because he's looking into the sun. So for him to judge that shot, it takes a bit of time. He can't take off straight away. He'll be a little relieved that the sun's now dipped just below that stand at deep square legs.
Chance here. This is a very good over. Dot balls, then a single that's been pushed by Sikandar Raza.
No excitement from the fielders, and that's how quickly Sikandar Raza's got across. Help your partner. But how good was Chamirat? 3 deliveries. 4 actually. The one to Sikandar Raza as well. Even though a single conceded, at this stage of the game, it's a win. 2 deliveries in this over. Now, will this force Raza to search for that boundary? Will he do something different? But I say that equation still in Zimbabwe's favor when you consider the conditions out there.
Yeah, that's been played using the pace. The boundary that you spoke about has been achieved.
Pretty well bowled, but just the quality of Sikandar Raza. It's a very similar delivery that was bowled to Munyonga, but rather than using the pace, he was trying to muscle it. Well, it was slightly wider and fuller, which made it easier. He's executed it to perfection, Sikandar Raza. Last ball of the 48.
Similar delivery. Now he's pushing for the second. Will he come back? No. He's got to keep strike. End of the over. 17 of the last 2. This game is down to the wire.
Watch all the exciting Premier League matches only on Michael, where fans win big. Cash prizes, phones, laptops, TVs, tickets to the matches in the UK, and much more. Download and subscribe now. Michael, where fans win big.
About being penalized for slow over rates. Sikandar, it's disappointing from Sri Lanka's point of view because this is not the
Watch all the exciting Premier League matches only on Michael, where fans win big. Cash prizes, phones, laptops, TVs, tickets to the matches in the UK, and much more. Download and subscribe now. Michael.
5 of the first 2 balls of the over. This is the important one. The penultimate over. 12 of 10 now.
hit his straps today will be entrusted with the last over. And he'll also have to bowl the over with that extra fielder in the circle. Tremendous chase. Sikandar Raza 91. Munyonga on his highest score of 41. Long off goes there. In comes the deep point fielder.
Shuffling around now. That's a question. What do you decide as a batting pair? Now, you're facing a bowler who's got 3 wickets. He's been their best today. And you've got a bowler who's going to bowl the last, who's been under the pump. Do you wait for that over and just look for singles in this?
You just knock it around. He does not need to move around as much. There are gaps on the leg side. Just get off strike. Let Sikandar Raza do whatever he's doing. Maybe you'll get a 2. You really don't want to wait for the last over. You take what's coming. But you don't need to get that boundary now. Make sure you're rotating the strike.
That he has to finish this. He cannot leave it for the bowlers to come. 11 of 8. 2 balls to go in the over. He's already got a boundary of that first ball. Does he try one more if the opportunity arrives?
Slight bit of width is that option for the boundary because everyone in the circle on that offside.
Light on the ground whatsoever. It's all shadows.
Maybe if it was now he'll be relieved. Last ball of the 49th. Look for a boundary. Swing for the hills. Munyonga. That's what you do now. Get that boundary.
Yeah, he tries to do exactly that. But the good news for Zimbabwe would be that Raza will be on strike for that last over, which is 10 runs worth.
Well,
watch all the exciting Premier League matches only on Myco, where fans win big. Download and subscribe now. Myco.
92, Munyanga on 42. On the back of the partnership that you see, 128 or 123. Gonna have to say Zimbabwe from here. 5 in the circle as well. So what's the field that Madhushankar will bowl to? So he's got to bring long off in. Madhushankar will look to take it across the right-hander with that left arm angle. Since long off is in the circle, he's got those 2 extra fielders on the offside. Here we go. The last over.
I was just going to say that. Since the offside is back, Raza might aim for the onside moving across, and he's done exactly that.
Oh boy. He's got his stance, he's bowled him. Everyone read the play. Even Raza, he went across looking to go over fine leg. Even Madhushankar. He's gonna go across. Let me try and hit the stumps. And he does. Great start to the over from Madhushankar's point of view. Not so for Sikandar Raza. But what an outstanding innings it has been. 92 of 87, 289 for 6.
बॉल फैंस तैयार हो जाओ ईपीएल के तमाम जबरदस्त मैचेस माइको पर देखें लाइव मैचेस और जीतें कैश आईफोन phones, laptops, PS5 और EPL के live match tickets. Game भी जीते, इनाम भी कमाएं. Download Myco and subscribe now. Myco, where...
Well, 10 runs of the last 5 balls, and you have a brand new batter in Brad Evans on strike. Munyonga will now be searching for a way to get on strike with 42 to his name.
He can strike a ball, Brad Evans. Here's Madhushankar. Does he go for the stumps or cross the batter?
Scoops it and gone. First ball. This is turning on its head at the moment. Madhushankar has got 2 of 2.
On a hat-trick. And what a time to be on a hat-trick for Madhushankar. Not only are the wickets falling, they're dot balls as well. Goal dust at this stage. Again, the thinking right, just unable to execute from Brad Evans. I guess it's the angle. It makes it hard. He's got it nicely. Asita Fernando. Eyes on the ball, eyes on the prize. Brad Evans gone for naught. 289 for 7.
Richard Ingarava, the new batter in, and the chat immediately from Tony Munyonga is, get me on strike. Evans tried to get a boundary, don't want Ingarava to do the same. This is how it started. Raza trying to work it on the onside.
He's got it. 3 in 3 for Madhushankar, and how about that? Lanka had to rely on him and he's delivered. He's not had the best of days, but when needed, he's produced a hat-trick, getting rid of Sikandar Raza, Brad Evans, and now Garava. 8 wickets down, Sri Lanka closing in on a win here. Garava gone for naught, 289 for 8.
Watch all the exciting Premier League matches only on Myco, where fans win big. Cash prizes, phones, laptops, TVs, tickets to the matches in the UK, and much more. Download and subscribe now. Myco, where fans win big. Watch all the exciting Premier League matches only on Myco, where fans win big. Download and subscribe now. Myco.
Blessing Muzarabani on strike. Zimbabwe still needs 10 of 3. Swings the bat hard. I'm pretty sure Munyonga won't let him come back for the second. He's been on the non-striker watching the action.
Now Sri Lanka will be telling Madhushankar, you need a good delivery here. Make sure you don't go for a boundary, and that's the game. Give us one good delivery, because if he goes for a boundary, the game is back on. That's the hat-trick. Sikandar Raza was the big wicket. 10 required off the last over, and he was on 92. Brad Evans, Garava, no real choice. They had to try and get bat on ball. Keep it away from a boundary. And the game is yours. That's what Madhushankar needs to keep in mind.
Yeah, the sun is nowhere in sight. This has become a day-night game suddenly. It's all floodlights now. Tony Munyonga on strike. Misses. What an over. What an over this has been. 9 of the last ball, and Zimbabwe would be thinking why and how they've ended up in this position.
And what a time for Madhushankar to stand up. Tikshana, Lanka. Now they'll be telling him, bowl a legal delivery. That's all you need to do.
Well, it's gone in the air, but it doesn't have the distance, and even if it did, I think the job is done. What an over, what a last over from Madhushankar. Out of nowhere, he saved the best for the last. Finishes off with 4 for 62.
7-run win. What a tight game and what a start to the series. Dilshan Madhushankar, my man of the match for sure. A hat-trick at that particular time, I think, was priceless. Sri Lanka half-10 puffed. The pressure was on, but they've managed to hold their nerve and defeat a spirited Zimbabwean team who just did not back down. They've had a great game here in Harare. They pushed each other right to the end.
And don't forget Asita Fernando's penultimate over. Left 10 runs in the last. And how the game can suddenly come into your favor. Madhushankar probably wouldn't have been the captain's first choice. But he got that opportunity to bowl the last over, and he got 3 wickets in that and only gave away 2 runs. Suddenly he becomes the contender of being a player of the match with those 3 deliveries that got the hat-trick. First for him in ODIs, and what a time to bring it on.
Spare thought how well he played, Sikandar Raza, 92. Played some wonderful options, and not for the first time. We see him do these all the time. Battling right till the end. Got castled by a clever bit of bowling from Madhushankar, and that was the end of that.
Yeah, it's a story of so close yet so far. Look at this. 2 wickets lost with no runs on the board. 118 partnership between Curran and Williams set the tone. And then it was Munyonga and Raza who took it forward right to the finishing line, but couldn't cross it.
10 required off the last over. Dilshan Madhushankar had been expensive, but he started off brilliantly. Outsmarted Sikandar Raza, Evans, and then cleaned up Garava to pick up a hat-trick that we will all remember. For the simple reason, the time that it did come up. 3 for 50 for Asita Fernando. Madhushankar, the hero in the end, 4 for 62. Chamira and Tikshana were good, even though they were wicketless.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of discussions in that dressing room, but this is the story. So many runs scored today. Who would have thought Sri Lanka will get to 298? Leanage got 17 not out, and he was the one who got them in top gear. And then Zimbabwe fought back to get to 291, and they lost this game by a margin of 7 runs, with Raza getting 92, Curran getting 70. And not to forget Madhushankar, 4 for 62, along with Asita's 3 for 50. Time for us to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have the awards distribution.
फुटबॉल फैंस तैयार हो जाओ ईपीएल के तमाम जबरदस्त मैचेस साइको पर देखिए डाउनलोड
Second, he's been on the non-striker, watching the action.
Sri Lanka. one good delivery. Because if he goes for a boundary, the game is back on. That's the hat-trick. Sikandar Raza was the big wicket. 10 required off the last over and he was on 92. Brad Evans, Garava, no real choice. They had to try and get bat on ball. Keep it away from a boundary. And the game is yours. That's what Madhushankar needs to keep in mind.
Yeah, the sun is nowhere in sight. This has become a day-night game suddenly. It's all floodlights now. Tony Munyonga on strike. Misses. What an over. What an over this has been. 9 of the last ball, and Zimbabwe would be thinking why and how they've ended up in this position.
And what a time for Madhushankar to stand up. Deekshana, Lanka. Now they'll be telling him, bowl a legal delivery. That's all you need to do.
Well, it's gone in the air, but it doesn't have the distance, and even if it did, I think the job is done. What an over, what a last over from Madhushankar. Out of nowhere, he saved the best for the last. Finishes off with 4 for 62.
7-run win. What a tight game and what a start to the series. Dilshan Madhushankar, my man of the match for sure.
शुरू हो रहा है जनूब की जानिब और हमारे कराची तो कराची वालों आपसे मुलाकात होने जा रही है 31 अगस्त को सुबह 9 बजे कराची आर्ट्स काउंसिल में 9 बजे गेट ओपन 12 बजे गेट्स क्लोज तो 9 से पहले 12 के बाद 12 से पहले 9 बस हिसाब खुद कर लो बस 9 से 12 के बीच में पहुंच जाना वहां पे किसी तरह से पहुंच जाना और ऐसे कोई जबरदस्त किस्म के ऑडिशन कर देना ऐसे कोई खड़े मसाले वाली बिरयानी दे देना कि लोगों को लग पता जाए कि कराची वाले टैलेंट में किसी से कम नहीं है
एक्शन से भरपूर मुकाबले
A hard-fought game with 589 runs scored in the day, and Sri Lanka emerging victorious by 7 runs. To hear the captains out and the player of the match, we go down to Tino Momoyo.
The pendulum swung to and fro from ball number 1 today all the way until the final ball of the innings. Set 299 to win. It was an outstanding effort from Zimbabwe to get within 7 runs, but it was the heroics of Dilshan Madhushankar, his first hat-trick in ODI cricket for Sri Lanka in that final over, making sure that they get over the line. Mighty congratulations to Sri Lanka. Welcome to the post-match presentation of the first ODI of Sri Lanka's tour to Zimbabwe 2025. And before we get into proceedings, Zimbabwe Cricket would like to thank their valuable sponsors, Utande, Schweppes, Cresta Hotels, Isan International, FedEx, ETG Input Zimbabwe, Emraz, CarTrack, Plascon, Delta, Pro Bottlers, Omtex, Wolf 777 and Mukuru. Today's presentation guest, he will award the player of the match memento as well as a check worth $300 is Mr. Blessing Gondo. He's a Zimbabwe Cricket Board Director as well as Chairperson of the Cricket Committee. Thank you very much for being with us this evening. Right, as the light fades, let's get on with this as quickly as possible. I'll ask Sean Williams to come forward and have a few words. Sean, I thought you had a fantastic day today. Won the toss, selected to bowl first, has started very well. Where do you think maybe the wheels sort of came off in that bowling innings?
Yeah, Tina, look, I think that the power play was unbelievable for us. I think all chances were taken and everything went according to plan. And then just towards the back end of our innings, I felt that, maybe a bad decision on my part. The one over at the end of the day cost us the game.
How impressive, though, were those two opening bowlers at the start, and Garawa the left arm and Muzarabani, who's been outstanding for a few months on the trot now?
Yeah, they've been unbelievable for us. I think setting a tone like that also at the beginning of the series, and not only that, for the youngsters that are bowling alongside them as well, it's class.
Halfway stage, you need 299. What's the change room saying? What are you saying to yourself when you walk out there? Zimbabwe 0 for 2.
I think it's a very difficult stage, actually. It's more on the lines of, try not let this chaos come into the batting and just go out there and be positive. And then we lost 2 quick wickets, and Ben and myself just decided to be a little bit proactive. And, we had the time on our side to be able to get in and play a few shots, and it worked out quite well.
Yeah, talk to us about what you would have said to Ben, your experience to a young man only playing probably his 10th ODI match, to be able to turn around the start of the innings, the manner in which you guys did in that wonderful 100-run partnership.
Yeah, look, I think obviously, Ben actually was striking the ball better than me at that stage. I think it was more on the lines of getting in line with the ball and actually accessing the 100%, run rate. That would have been the single on offer. So, and by doing that, the boundary will come. So I think he was really, really good, and he was nice and proactive, and I supported that.
Yeah, you almost get over the line. Sekunda Raza, we know what he's capable of. How impressed are you with the young Tony Munyonga, the way that he handled the pressure towards the end of the innings?
I think his character off the field speaks volumes about how he handled that situation. I think obviously it was tough fitness-wise. I think a lot of twos on offer there, and it's a very difficult area of the game to play in. And I mean, they nailed the Yorkers. So, I think he's doing really well.
Very close today, Sean. Hard luck. You've still got one more in the series in a couple of days. All the best for that one.
Thank you.
Sean Williams, the captain of Zimbabwe. Right, we'll move on to the Player of the Match award. There were a number of performances that we had to consider upstairs as the commentating team. However, it was Dilshan Madushanka, a hat-trick in the first 3 balls of that final over. He ripped the bottom order of Zimbabwe apart, and his performance earns him the Player of the Match award. His figures: 10 overs, 4 for 61. Dilshan, I'll ask you to come forward, as well as your team manager. Dilshan, outstanding.
A lot of twos on offer there, and it's a very difficult area of the game to play in, and I mean, they nailed the Yorkers. So, I think he's doing really well.
Very close today, Sean. Hard luck. You've still got one more in the series in a couple of days. All the best for that one.
Thank you.
Sean Williams, the captain of Zimbabwe. Right, we'll move on to the Player of the Match award. There were a number of performances that we had to consider upstairs as the commentating team. However, it was Dilshan Madushanka, a hat-trick in the first 3 balls of that final over. He ripped the bottom order of Zimbabwe apart, and his performance earns him the Player of the Match award. His figures: 10 overs, 4 for 61. Dilshan, I'll ask you to come forward, as well as your team manager. Dilshan, outstanding.